The Singapore Police Force is the Republic's main police agency tasked with maintaining law and order in the island city-state. Formerly known as the Republic of Singapore Police, it has grown from an 11-man organization to a 38,587-strong force. Singapore has been ranked consistently in the top 5 positions in the Global Competitiveness Report in terms of its reliability of police services. The organizational structure of the SPF is split between the staff and line functions, roughly modeled after the military. There are currently 14 staff departments, 3 specialist staff departments and 15 specialist and line units. The headquarters is located in a block at New Phoenix Park in Novena, adjacent to a twin block occupied by the Ministry of Home Affairs. Colonial history. The Singapore Police Force has a heritage almost as old as that of modern Singapore, having been formed in 1819, with a skeleton force of 11 men under the command of Francis James Bernard, son-in-law of William Farquhar, and kept in operation with a monthly budget of $300. Manpower constraints meant that the men had to perform a wide range of roles, and required the help of headmen amongst the various ethnic communities to maintain orderliness on the streets, all the more possible as the communities lived in segregated areas around the city. This partnership with the community was in line with Sir Stamford Raffles' vision of a thriving colony largely self-regulated by local social structures, with the British masters administrating it via indirect rule. The large influx of migrants from China, however, began to test this system when the hands-off approach by the British allowed secret societies in Singapore to thrive. Although originally formed with legal intentions of community bonding and the provision of assistance to fellow migrants, these societies gradually became influential, competitive, and increasingly engaged in illegal activity including monetary extortion from the masses, the operation of gambling dens, and the smuggling of illegal goods on top of more legal commercial operations to meet the financial needs. Competition gradually heated up between large rival factions, such as that between the larger Gi Kong Si, the Gi Hok Kong Si and the Hai San Kong Si. Murders, mass riots, kidnappings, arson and other serious crimes became commonplace in the next 4 decades since the colony's founding. Faced with violent acts of crime which may involve thousands, such as the funeral riots of 1846 involving 9,000 members from the Gihin and Gwehok secret societies, the police force was woefully incapable of bringing the situation under control, and often had to call in the army for assistance. The escalating number of serious crimes prompted the need for stronger legislation to deter would-be criminals. Singapore's first executions were thus held in the wake of the first criminal session in June 1828, when a Chinese and Indian were found guilty and convicted for murder, headed by Europeans and predominantly staffed by Malay and Indian officers. The force had little Chinese representation as the military and policing professionals were traditionally shunned by the Chinese community, which therefore impaired policing efforts amongst the large Chinese populace. In 1843, the force comprised a sitting magistrate doubling up as a superintendent, 3 European constables and an assistant native constable, 14 officers and 110 policemen, with a total strength of no more than 150 men. The police was compelled to avoid direct intervention in these mass acts of violence, else risking almost total annihilation. A repeat of this scenario occurred in 1851, when lingering displeasure against Roman Catholic ethnic Chinese erupted into major rioting, leaving over 500 Chinese dead. The army was called in again, although it involved involved having to induct Indian convicts into military service almost overnight. In 1854, 12 consecutive days of violence sparked by a dispute between the Hokkiens and Teochews disrupted trade. This particular incident led to the formation of the military's Singapore Rifle Corps on 8 July 1854, the earliest predecessor of the Singapore Armed Forces People's Defence Force today. Criminal violence was not merely in the domain of the ethnic Chinese, however. Rivalries between Malay princes and communities also often result in acts of violence, which prompted the passing of Singapore's first arms law in March 1823, restricting the right to bear arms to 24 of the Malay Sultan's followers. Nearly 2 centuries later, these anti-arms laws continue to be strictly enforced, resulting in a society relatively free from firearms-related criminal offences. Modern-day crime rates in Singapore are consistently low. Organisational structure: police headquarters, staff departments, specialist and AMP line units. The divisions are also named after NATO phonetic alphabet. These include A. Central Police Division, B. Toa Payoh Police Division, C. Geylang Police Division, D. Clementi Police Division, E. Tanglin Police Division, F. Ang Mo Kio Police Division, G. Bedok Police Division, J. Jurong Police Division. Finances: the Singapore Police Force receives the highest budget allocation annually as compared to the various departments of the Ministry of Home Affairs, typically accounting for about 50% of its annual budget. For the fiscal year of 2013, $3.89 billion was budgeted to the MHA, of which 47.8%, or $1.86 billion, was allocated for the police program. Actual expenses in the 2013 fiscal year was $2.04 billion, of which $1.88 billion was spent on operating expenditure and $159.1 million on development expenditure. Manpower costs amounting to $1.16 billion continue to dominate the SPF's expenditure, accounting for 61.7% of its operating expenditure and 56.9% of total expenditure in FY 2013. The latest budget for fiscal year 2015, $2.47 billion, was allocated to the police program, or 49.5% of MHA's total budget of $5 billion. This includes $2.26 billion for operating expenditure and $210.93 million for development expenditure. The main development expenditures expected in FY 2015 included the construction of new buildings such as the Woodlands Police Divisional HQ, as well as the acquisition of new patrol craft for the Police Coast Guard and the installation of police cameras at more HDB blocks and multi-story car parks. Manpower: as of the 31st of March 2014, the total strength of the force stands at 41,599, of which 15,031 are full-time staff. Manpower trends in recent years are as follows. Regulars or uniformed full-time officers constitute about 20% of the police's total workforce and number approximately 8,000 in strength. Basic entry requirements for police officers include normal fitness levels, good eyesight, and at least 5 passes in the GCE Ordinary Level or ANITEC from the Institute of Technical Education. although those with lower qualifications may still be considered. Those joining the senior police officers require a basic degree from a recognized university. Alternatively, police officers from the junior ranks may also be considered for promotion into the senior ranks. Officers serving in the force as national servicemen are also regularly considered for absorption into the regular scheme. Basic training for all officers are conducted at the Home Team Academy, under the purview of the Police Training Command. It takes about 6 months and 9 months to train a new police officer and senior police officer respectively. As is the case with many other civil service positions in Singapore, the salaries of police officers are reviewed in accordance to market rates. Salaries are kept competitive as part of anti-corruption measures. Gross starting salaries for police officers may range from $1,820 to $2,480, and that of senior police officers from $3,400 to $4,770, depending on entry qualifications, relevant, useful work experiences and national service. Police officers commence their careers as sergeants or corporals, while senior police officers start as either assistant superintendents of police or inspectors. Reviews of an officer's performance for promotion consideration are conducted annually. Interviews conducted for promotion to certain ranks were phased out since 1995. It takes approximately 5 years for a police officer to be promoted to the next rank, although the system allows for accelerated promotion for outstanding officers. While joining the force as a career is generally considered a respectable decision in contemporary Singapore, support from the ethnic Malay community has been traditionally stronger due to less social stigma attached to the profession. Traditionally, Chinese culture has astute careers in uniformed positions, resulting in a force dominated by non-Chinese officers for most of the force's early history. National servicemen also contribute a higher proportion of ethnic Malays in the force. The current ethnic profile of the force continues to have a significantly higher proportion of ethnic minorities compared to the national ethnic profile, although such an outcome is related to operational demands. Police resources are typically deployed with a diverse ethnic mix to decrease communication problems while attending to incidents in ethnically diverse Singapore. Competition in the employment market, usually heating up during economic boom times, occasionally depressed the number of police recruits as well as its existing ranks. A series of major incidents in 2008 affecting agencies of the Home Affairs Ministry has led to the ministry conducting a study which concluded that there is a shortage of officers, resulting in officers being overstretched, strained and overstressed. In the police force, it was admitted that the recruitment and retention of non-graduate police officers has been adversely affected by the tighter labor market, with resignation rates increasing by 50% between 2004 and 2007. Recruitment figures, while remaining relatively stable, has been unable to address the higher demands placed on the force. Various measures were thus taken in response, including an increase in starting salaries, sign-on bonuses for senior police officers, and retention bonuses of up to $30,000 for non-graduate police officers in a bid to encourage them to stay for at least 8 years. Over the 5 years where many leave at the end of the service bonds. Police national servicemen. While national service was introduced in 1967 in Singapore, it was solely geared towards the building up of the Singapore Armed Forces. There was little urgency in the police force to increase its manpower strength until the Laju incident in 1974 demonstrated the need for additional, trained reserve officers who can be called up at short notice in the event of an emergency. National service was thus extended to the Singapore Police Force in 1975, with the primary aim of guarding key installations and to act as a reserve unit. Subsequent expansion of the scheme, changing security needs, and a trend in outsourcing installation protection has expanded the role to more functions, which may range from administration, investigation to frontline policing alongside the regular counterparts. The Volunteers formed in 1946. The Volunteer Special Constabulary is an important component of the Singapore Police Force, contributing more than 50 years of volunteer service to the nation. The VSC is composed of volunteers from all walks of life in Singapore, from businessmen to blue-collar executives to even bus captains, bonded with the same aspiration to serve the nation by complementing the Singapore police force. They are vested with equal powers of a police officer to enforce law and order in Singapore. VSC officers don the same police uniform and patrol the streets, participate in anti-drug operations and sometimes even high-speed sea chases. Previously headquartered at the Yutong Cent Street Police Station and Toa Payoh Police Station, it relocated to the new police cantonment complex in year 2000. Civilian staff in the police force are deployed in areas such as technology, logistics, human resource and administrative and finance services, as well as investigation, planning and intelligence. The civilian staff schemes falls under the General Civil Service schemes managed by the Public Service Division. These schemes include Commercial Affairs Officer Scheme for Accountancy, Law, Business Administration, Business or Economics degree holders, Commercial Affairs Officer, Home Team Specialist Scheme for degree and diploma holders, Home Team Specialists, Home Affairs Senior Executive Scheme for degree holders, Management Executive, Management Support Scheme for diploma holders and below, Management Support Officer, Corporate Support Officer, Technical Support Scheme for diploma holders and below, Technical Support Officer. The civilization of non-core police functions have accelerated over the years in order to free up additional manpower for redeployment into police divisions. Other changes include the deployment of contract staff through organizations such as Ministry of Finance's Vital Org for administrative staff and partners such as Singapore Technologies and Cyber Security Agency for technical support, Staff Welfare Aquatic Club, Home United Basketball Club, Home United Football Club, JOM Clubhouse for Police Officers, Polwell Cooperative Society Limited, Police Sports Association, Police Welfare Division, Senior Police Officers Mess, Singapore Police Cooperative Society Limited. Uniforms. Dark blue is the organisational colour of the Singapore Police Force, and has remained so continuously since 1969, although the first police uniforms introduced in 1856 were also in the same colour. On the 1st of July 1969, Dacron Blue made a comeback to the uniform with a force-wide change away from khaki overnight, in part to coincide with Singapore's 150th anniversary since its founding in 1819. The new uniform comprises a dark blue pea-cap shirt, trousers, black belt, shoes and socks, and coded whistle lanyard in blue and white. 3 large and 4 small metal buttons, metal collar badges, and a metal cap badge are affixed, and a black plastic name tag completes the uniform. Metallic ranks, if any, affixed to the sleeve or on the shoulders for senior officers. The lanyard was changed to a metal chain in 1972, and in 1985, the material of the uniform was changed from 75% polyester, 25% cotton to 100% polyester for ease of daily maintenance. Derivatives of the standard blue uniform was adopted for specialized forces and for all officers in various occasions, which calls for more formal or casual attire. The Traffic Police Department was amongst the few to move away from the all-blue attire, adopting a short-sleeved white tunic, dark blue breeches, a black leather Sam Browne belt, and riding boots for its officers performing mobile squad duties. A white crash helmet is worn when on the move, while a new dark blue jockey cap with checkered white and dark blue patterns around its circumference is worn when convenient while performing static duty. Members of the Vigilante Corps are also attired by a white short-sleeved top similar in design to the dark blue version for normal officers, gold-colored buttons and badges, and a dark blue beret in place of the peak cap. Combat uniforms has also been adopted for specialist units such as those from the Special Operations Command and the Police Coast Guard, collectively known as the No. 4 uniforms. These involve the replacement of metal buttons with sewn-on plastic ones, the avoidance of all other metallic accoutrements which are deemed potentially hazardous to the officer or to others, and the use of long-sleeve shirts. There was no major change to the uniform since then, except for the adoption of embroidered shoulder ranks and badges for all ranks in the 1990s. Other changes are less distinct, such as the upgrading of shoes used, the change of the belt material and belt buckle to one including the police crest, and the replacement of the peak cap with a baseball cap for NPC officers on frontline duty. In the past, the police were using the standard issue drill boots for the daily duties. However, using of the drill boots for daily duties such as patrols and chasing after suspects proved impractical as they were severely uncomfortable, causing blisters, or worse, causing the officer to be injured. In 2012, the police trialed the Magnum Stealth Force 6.0 and 8.0. Subsequently, they became the standard issue for their officers, while the Special Operations Command were previously using the traditional full-leather combat boot. The Force also rolled out the Magnum Spider 8.1 SZ for the troopers. In N2015, the police rolled out the Frontier 8 inches tactical boot as the replacement for the Magnum Stealth Forces. The newer boots have the same exact features of the Magnum Stealth Force 8.0. Despite criticisms of the Frontier brand from servicemen from the Singapore Army, the 8 inches tactical boots features a Vibram outsole, thicker side cushioning, and slightly more ventilation, which is very comfortable, although the insole of the boot is slightly thinner as compared to the Magnum Stealth Forces, which can be replaced. In 2008-2009, the black and grey plastic name tags was changed to the black epoxy-coated name tags with the home team badge on the left. The name tags with a safety pinned backing were a safety hazard when struggling with suspects. Progressively, the backing name tags were fitted with Velcro for ease of fitting and safety. The previous black and grey plastic name tags is still in use by the National Police Cadet Corps. All officers under the home team are issued with these epoxy name tags. Ranks. A standard rank structure is used throughout the police force, although some ranks may be unique to specific organizations. These ranks are denoted where applicable in the following list, which lists them in ascending seniority. Police officers. The rank of corporal was abolished in 1972, but reinstated in 1976. In 1997, all ranks were shifted from the sleeves to the epaulets, except for the Gurkha contingent. Also in the same year, the station inspector rank was changed from collar pips to epaulets with a new design similar to that of the SAF warrant officers, and the rank of senior station inspector was introduced. In 1998, the senior station inspector rank was introduced, and changes were made to the SI, SSI, and SSI rank designs. The rank of Lance Corporal was abolished in 2002. The 2006, the Gurkha contingent adopted embroidered ranks as part of an overhaul of its combat dress, but are worn on the right front pocket. There was a major rank overhaul in 2016 with the removal of the ranks of Corporal, SSGT, SSI and SSI, as well as the removal of the distinction between police officers and senior police officers in what is now called a unified police scheme. Weapons. Police officers in the various divisions are armed when conducting regular uniformed patrols and plainclothes duties. Officers from different units are issued with different weapons. The standard layout of a regular right-handed officer's duty belt ops kit consists of the following in a clockwise direction. 1. Ammunition pouch, with speed loader containing 5 rounds of 38 special PMC cartridges. 2. Taurus Model 85 3-inch barrel revolver with 5 rounds of 38 special PMC cartridges. 3. A set of Smith & Wesson handcuffs. 4. Monadnock PR21T baton, ASP expandable baton. 5. Motorola MTP6550 portable radio set. 6. X26 Taser, the 5-shot, 38 Taurus Model 85 with 3-inch barrel featuring the laser sight by Crimson Trace is the standard issued sidearm of the Singapore police force with 10 rounds of ammunition. For less than lethal option, most policemen are issued a Monadnock PR21 side handle baton to enhance their defensive capabilities. Expandable batons are used by some units such as Security Command, and the Sabre red pepper spray canisters are exclusively equipped to the officers. If Police Coast Guard and Police Tactical Unit, a pair of handcuffs is issued to the officers as restraints. The Taser X26 stun gun is part of the officer equipment, which provides another non-lethal means of subduing suspects. Despite some safety concerns due to incidents experienced by foreign police forces, the weapon was deemed suitable for use by trained personnel, and was rolled out across other NPCs. Heckler & Amp Koch USP pistols are known to be used by the Special Operations Command, Police Tactical Unit, Criminal Investigation Department and Security Command. Officers of Police Coast Guard's Special Task Squadron are issued with Glock 19 semi-automatic pistol, and Special Tactics and Rescue acquire the Swiss-made Sphinx 3000 pistol, replacing the previous used Glock pistols. Addition to the use of the handguns, Singapore Police Force also uses the Heckler & Amp Koch MP5 submachine gun and the Remington 870 shotgun, while specialized weapons are issued to the Star and Kins units, such as the Sphinx 3000, G36C, M4S1, M16S1, SIG 522, G22-21 Saudi Riyals rifles, Matador anti-armor weapon system, and a variegated arsenal of sniper rifles. Equipment. The primary communication tool carried by each officer is through a common digital radio set used by home team organizations. In the first half of the 21st century, this was provided by Matra Nortel Communications (EADS) based on TETRAPOL technology. In 2013, a contract was awarded to Motorola Communications for a replacement communication network using Tetra technology, with the first units being deployed in 2015. whereas for secondary communication, officers are given the option to utilize the mobile data terminal at their issued personal digital assistant, also known as Cubicon 2, in which real-time information can be communicated between the officer and command center or ops room. Strict enforcement of anti-arm laws, which are in existence in Singapore since 1823, has resulted in a relatively disarmed society, where firearms-related crimes are rare. It is therefore not an operational requirement for police officers to wear bullet-resistant vests when conducting normal policing duties. However, vests, helmets, and shields are carried in police vehicles and stocked in police establishments and can be rapidly utilized should the situation require it. In addition, chemical protection equipment such as suit, gloves, boots and NBC masks etc. are readily available to be drawn from the maintenance stores. Special units such as the KINS unit are known for utilizing the skeletal battle order vest as a direct alternative to the ops kit belt for, as they are issued with firearm magazines while on duty. From 2004, new multi-purpose vests were introduced which offer officers protection against most handgun fire, knife thrusts, as well as doubling up as a buoyancy vest should officers fall into deep water.